Hello fellas, welcome back to a brand new video. I've came to see Paul Linford at Paul Linford Racing. Paul's got a car for sale, a very iconic car, a German DTM car. Tell us about it, Paul.
I'll tell you as much as I can.
Right.
The Wurth cars, they're very difficult to absolutely 100% pinpoint the history, because there was 5 of them. And they're obviously cars, like we've said before, they all swap liveries and they all do different rounds and different. So we can't absolutely 100% pinpoint every single race it did and everything, but we do know it's definitely chassis number 1. So obviously one of the first ones they built, and it originally started out in the Barclay card colour scheme, which I'll send you some pictures of. Horrible cream and brownie colour it is. But it started life, like a lot did, in 87 as a standard 3-door Cosy, till obviously later in 87 when they were all upgraded to RS500s.
Right.
So as I said, this car started in the Barclay car livery, then 87 to do with the Silverstone TT, which we believe this is the car they used for the Silverstone TT. It was put in the Wurth livery. Now, the livery it's in now is slightly wrong. This is the 88 later Wurth livery. The car should have slightly like a more orangey colour where the red is. Right. On the stickers, and the door numbers are different. It should have number 4 on the doors, but it's only a few stickers. Mainly the livery is basically correct, it's just slight details that are wrong. But again, I'll send you pictures of it in the 87 Wurth livery. So it ran at that for 87, ended up back in the Barclay card livery again later in 87, but without the Barclay card written on it. Right, so whether there was a deal done and it fell through or what, we don't know, but it appeared again, as I say, in that livery, but without the Barclay card written on it.
So it wasn't sponsored by Barclay card?
You know, you can only assume what happened. We can't guarantee, but it is definitely chassis number 1. It's stamped in the floor, which is rare for a lot of touring cars, you see. And a lot of them have the chassis tag under the bonnet like this has got, but not many people actually stamped numbers into the shell.
Does it stamp it where the floor numbers is? Is it down?
You'll see it there, Adam. It's actually slightly further forward where the original numbers is, but you can see it there.
All right.
And it's actually stamped into the floor, which is a bonus because it sort of it helps you 100% prove what the cars are. So yeah, so it ran that 87. After late 87, like a lot of these cars, it's very difficult to then again work out which car did which, because they carried on racing, but Wurth were then building more cars. They all ran in the same livery, so you're like, well, which one's actually which? The DTM cars, the German cars and the European touring cars kept logbooks, and it showed each car, what races it did, etc. and when. Unfortunately, the logbook for this car, like a lot of them, have gone missing over the years. People throw them away. You know, they find these old Sierras stuck in a barn. It's got this
bit of paperwork,
and they just lose it, which is a shame now, but it is what it is. But it definitely is genuine Wurth car. The chassis numbers in it definitely run as the Wurth car in 87. So
and this was a Ford-backed car, wasn't it? So
yes, yeah. Wurth was a Ford-backed team, which meant really they were the better specification cars. Like the Eggenberger cars, which were the full works factory cars, Wurth was Ford-backed, not to the same degree as Eggenberger. They were the full out-and-out works cars. But with these being Ford-backed, it's got all the aluminium rear arms, basically all the Eggenberger spec. So these cars are a good car. You know, they're a very, very high spec car. And that's why when you watch all throughout the DTM series and everything, these cars were front-running cars. The only thing really that sort of spoilt DTM later in the years is they actually put restrictors on these cars to slow them down. Because some people say, how come in Britain Sierras won everything, but when you watch DTM, it was completely different.
I was going to say, it's a lot of Mercedes at the front, isn't it, in the German DTM?
And the BMWs, because basically on the Sierras, they made them run a restrictor on the turbo, and they put weight in the car. They put ballast weight on the passenger floor to slow these cars down, which I don't understand that logic, mate. You know, if you as a manufacturer have built an unbelievably fast car that nobody else can beat, why do you penalise it? That's up to the other manufacturers to build a car that can beat this car. But because nobody could, that's what they did. We joked about it earlier. It's like, well, you won Olympics last year, so this week you're going to have to carry a knapsack with some weight in it to give everybody else a chance. What's the point? But that's what they did. You know, that's how it was.
It's a cool livery as well. To me, this became a bit more recognisable of a livery since the Mini Champ models came out, and there's a lot of the Mini Champ Wurth models, isn't there?
Yeah, I think
it's a nice livery.
I love it. I think it's a real striking, simple livery, but looks really, really nice. And like you said, I think the biggest thing with race cars, we say it on all the videos, there's 4 things really, Adam. There's, when you come to work out a value of a race car, it's who built it, who drove it, what did it achieve, i.e. wins and what have you. But I think the biggest thing is livery.
Definitely.
If you remember a livery, that car becomes a car you want to own. And I think the models helped massively. I mean, what's really sort of frustrated everybody in the UK is we had all these iconic, like the Labatt's livery, the Caliber cars. Nobody's ever done a model of the BTCC famous liveries. They've only ever done the European cars, the DTM cars, and I suppose because it's a bigger market, because all the Europeans will buy the models, the British buy the models. But yeah, this is so well known because of the models you can buy of it.
So you did mention these ran restrictors, Paul, but it doesn't look like it's on this car, is it?
No, obviously later days everybody takes it off because we don't have to run them in this country. So obviously if you wanted to race this car, you wouldn't run it with a restrictor in it to be competitive.
A lot of problems as well with the original cars is the management. They're a bit temperamental at the start and get running. It looks like this has been...
It has, it's been updated, same as all the other cars. Again, nobody ever runs original management anymore because that's probably the biggest step forward that we've had in the last 30 years is electronics. So this is running, I believe, called a black ECU.
Right.
The owner of this car, I'm selling this car on behalf of a guy called Martin Johnson. Martin has been involved with these cars for many, many years. Martin actually used to own the Labatt's car many, many years ago, and I actually tried buying the Labatt's car off Martin and missed it by a couple of days. So he's been around a long time, he knows his stuff with them. So he's bought this car and he's put it on the more modern management. So again, it's reliable, etc. But you know, we speak a lot of time about individual things that you can identify cars by straight away.
Like the roll cages are different on a lot of cars.
Exactly. Well, the Wurth cage has got the diagonal like that's common. The cage in the back is identifiable easy as a Wurth cage. But again, silly thing like that header tank there.
It's a big header tank, that, isn't it?
It's one of the biggest ever run on any 500. But if you remember, my Louis car ran the same big header tank as that.
Right.
So again, like in BTCC, people would buy parts off Andy Rouse.
Right.
In the German series, people would buy off Wurth or they would buy off Eggenberger. So like that's a well-known Wurth header tank that like the Ringhausen team purchased it off them. The breather system there is very similar to the Eggenberger, apart from the way the pipes come in and there's an extra tank there. There's an extra separator. But again, if you look at period pictures of all the Wurth cars, you see that exact same setup on every single car. So again, it's nice that when I do, I can lift a bonnet and straight away go, oh, it's got the original breather on it, the original header tank on it. And the cam pulleys, if you look at them, really, really strange adjustable cam pulleys. You won't see them on many cars other than Wurth cars. And now the fact that they're different colours, which again, I'll send you some period pictures. There's period pictures of the bonnet up on these cars. You can clearly see them cam pulleys, you can see the breather kit, you can see the big header tanks. So again, it's just nice to see that it's got a lot of its period stuff still on it, because we forget these ran 35 years ago.
Long time, isn't it?
And a lot of these cars, like this car, we spoke earlier, its history sort of after 87 is there, but it's sort of vague in respect of absolutely guarantee which car did which round and everything, even though we know the car was still out there. In 1991, this car was bought by the Obermann family.
Right.
And again, I'll send you some pictures of the car. And things were changed. Obviously, the livery was changed. For some reason, it went back to a 3-door Cosy front bumper rather than the RS500. That could have been availability, price, whatever. But again, subtle changes. What you see on the Obermann car is that
Oh, in the wing?
That was put in by the Obermann family.
In the wing, was it?
That was put in there, yeah. And the mirrors, you can see the mirrors changed to these mirrors, which again is good because that is how we identify these cars, because you sort of think, well, which car did Obermann buy? Well, you look and you think, well, we know it's this car because it's still got them mirrors, it's still got that in the wing. And obviously, communication with a lot of the owners, with Walter Wurth, with Obermann, a good friend of mine called Roy Deirdre, he is a massive enthusiast on these cars. He's got a database where he puts all the information on these cars on it. Well, I used to have a database years ago, and me and Roy used to sort of swap information, if you will. And I sort of still have my database, but it's not as fine detail as Roy's. So, like on this car, me and Roy spoke about it, and he asked me questions, is this still there, is that still there? And I'd take photographs for him, send it to him, and he updates his database.
All right.
Pictures of the chassis numbers. Yes, it's still got these on, has it still got this on, and we sort of compare, and this is how we sort of, even 35 years later, we're managing to sort of piece together now, right, well, that's definitely that car that raced in that race because it's got them mirrors on it, it's got that on it, and we piece it together. But Roy's is a stickler for detail. He'll watch a video for hours and hours and hours and work out which car did what race, and that. He's brilliant, really, the time and effort he puts in. But yeah, you can clearly see that wasn't when it was run by Wurth, was on the Obermann car. And Martin Johnson, who owns this car now, he bought it off Obermann, the Obermann family.
All right.
So its later history is absolutely guaranteed. And obviously Obermann said, well, yeah, I bought it off Wurth in 1991. I think he actually bought two cars. I think he bought chassis number 05 and this car 01, but they crashed 05.
Right.
And I believe he bought this off Wurth as a rolling shell without the engine in it, but the engine was with it.
Right.
So he's robbed some good bits off chassis 05, put them onto this, and it's originally, now Martin's put the original engine back in it. But that's common. You know, if you did that with a road car, people would turn their nose up and go, oh, so it's a bitzer. Well, all race cars are bitzers. They've all had bits updated, swapped, changed, whatever over the years. But Martin says to me that is definitely a Wurth engine. It's stamped Wurth, the head's stamped Wurth, so it's the original engine.
Cool. Tell you what I noticed as well, with this big header tank, you've got a little pressure gauge to tell you the pressure in the tank.
Quite cool, that, isn't it?
I've never seen that.
No, I've never seen that on any other car. I think that's been added later on.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure the period pictures, I'll have to check, I'm sure that isn't there. But I thought that was quite...
It's well done as well, isn't it? Like they've made a proper little bracket with a little screw to nip it up.
Even back then, 35 years ago, when you look at a lot of fabrication on these early race cars, attention to detail for little brackets and things they make up, and you think...
Just pride in the work.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time on it.
Does this car start, Paul?
It does, yeah.
Can we start it?
Of course we can, yeah. You know what to do now.
Jump in.
You'll find it interesting when you're sitting there. Give me your camera. Right, I think you'll find something quite strange in this car when you get in it.
Right.
I'll wait till you get in it.
Right.
And see if you...
I'll notice the steering wheel is the first thing. Is that what you want to see it?
Well, sit in it and see how different this car is to any other car. But again, you look at period photographs or period footage, you can clearly see that steering wheel and that massive, huge extension piece there to move the steering wheel. I mean, look how, you must be
massive.
A good 12, 13, 14 inches away from where the steering wheel should be. And you're sat right back.
Right back.
Do you know why that is? It's to move the centre of gravity of you back to the middle of the car to get a better weight distribution for the car. But in that one weird seating position for one of these.
It's quite nice though. It's quite like a nice seating position.
I don't know.
It doesn't feel strange.
I think it feels a bit weird. It might be different when you're racing it, but...
Maybe it's because you're more used to sitting in them, but to me it feels...
I'll give you that and I'll connect the battery.
So is that the management there, Paul?
That's the original Bosch management.
Right.
Like my Eggenberger car's got exactly the same one, but mine actually is running on the original ECU. This one's been updated to the black ECU, like I say, which is...
Just behind there?
In the usual place of an ECU, it's there.
Oh, a lot smaller, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a look at that.
I know.
Just shows you, doesn't it, if people mention about technology, how far it's come. It's ridiculous, really, isn't it? But what you've got to remember, in period, that was the absolute best ECU money could buy. That was an incredible piece of kit. You know, the Eggenberger team ran that, and I think everybody in the world wanted that ECU, but it was absolutely crazy money. I don't know what it was, but it'll have been
A lot of money.
All the pumps and everything on this are already switched on.
Right.
So all you'll do, turn the big red button.
This?
Yep.
That way?
Yep, and that'll turn everything on. Oh, it's not in the key, you'll have to push it in first.
Like that?
Yep. That's it. Like with this, Adam, you'll have to catch it. Remember you did with mine, so don't press the throttle, press the start button, and when it starts, just flip the throttle real lightly, but go for it, you should start.
This one?
Yep. Give it some revs.
It's running a minute there, isn't it? So what have we got here? What? BD?
I know, it's all German.
Oh, right. WT must be water temperature, I'm guessing.
I would think. That's the time. Oil pressure.
Oil.
Oh, yeah. Oil temp.
Aye, oil temperature, oil pressure, and oil druck.
That'll be oil light. That'll be alternator.
Limmer. Here's a fall. That's just oil burning off.
Yeah, just a bit of stagnant oil.
You can see the pressure going up a little bit, can you? It's getting a little bit warmer. So how come them injectors aren't right up for?
It's like on the Eggenberger cars, mine only has 4 as well. They're just running 4 really big injectors instead of 8.
Right. So even in race, they wouldn't have run with 8 injectors?
I would think it'll have been on 8. Oh no, because it's on the original Bosch ECU, same as the Eggenberger car, so we'll have only run 4 in period as well.
Aye, amazing, mate. Amazing.
Can't afford to leave them running too long. We'll price of fuel.
No, amazing, mate. Really
Great
nice bit of kit. Really nice car. Aye, amazing, mate. So this car is actually for sale?
It is, yeah. Can be bought.
You were saying it's quite cheap as well for a 500. You were saying you want it yourself, don't you?
Well, I want them all, don't I?
I was going to say it.
I believe this to be probably the best value genuine RS500 touring car money can buy. This is
quite an iconic livery as well, isn't it?
It ticks every box, you know, like we said, it's a good livery. Even in the 87 livery, which is only a case of changing numbers. Iconic livery, famous drivers, built by Wurth, which was a Ford-backed team. and it was quite a successful car. I can't even remember where it came in, the 87 TT, but it was winning it for quite a lot of the race. I'll have to check, but it was a front-running car. So it ticks every box, and it can be bought for 155,000.
155.
Well, to be honest, as I've told you before, if you want a car like this built today,
cost you more.
250 grand.
Easy.
And then it's never an original car with period history. This is a genuine original car.
This is only going to go up, isn't it?
Exactly. And the good thing with this is you can race this car. It'll be a competitive car, and it's going to go up in value because it is a genuine real deal car. So this ticks every box. I mean, they're all great cars, all the ones that are for sale. And again, obviously, due to the 4 points we've made, the prices vary. The Labatt's car's top of the tree. But yeah, I think this is an absolutely fabulous car for the money. On the button, ready to go.
Aye, I know.
Spare wheels with it.
Spare wheels as well?
There's 2 sets of spare wheels with it.
Amazing, amazing.
And it doesn't really need anything.
I wish I had the cash and the space.
Yeah. Sometimes the space is harder to find than the cash. But yeah, all genuine rear spoilers on it. It has got a fiberglass front bumper, which, to be quite honest, if it was mine, I'd change that because it's quite a...
I'm guessing if someone wants a car, you can supply a bumper.
Exactly, but it's just, I don't know where they've got the bumper from, but it's just not a great fitting front bumper. You know, the fiberglass ones are fit really well, but it's just a minor...
I was going to say, to be honest, if you're going to race it, it wouldn't even bother me.
No, doesn't matter. Chances are it's not probably going to last a full season anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's, again, all Eggenberger spec parts, proper gearbox, the original Wurth engine in it, on a modern management. Great car.
Amazing.
Or for a collector. Nice piece of history to own.
Just nice to own.
Yeah, they are. I think they are. I mean,
to walk in the garage and just see your car like this, just have a car like, I don't know, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Amazing, mate, amazing. So you were saying, Paul, is also with the car?
Yeah, there's this, which is, I think, a nice little period thing. You can see there, it says Wurth Racing in it.
That's the original rev counter?
It is. Now, unfortunately, these ECUs will only power a certain rev counter. So that won't work off a modern ECU. So unfortunately, when they changed to the modern ECU, they've had to put a modern rev counter in the car.
Right.
To make it work.
So that's just the original one. You see, it's nice to have those, isn't it?
Well, it is, because...
It almost looks glow in the dark, that.
Yeah, they are quite luminous. All the contactlessness was... I'll say that again. Contactless was the company that made them.
Right.
And they are quite luminous for at night. But I just think it's nice that it's there. Right. Comes with the car, just a nice piece of wall-mounted history or whatever. But that comes with it.
Cool. That's it, fellas. Thanks for watching. And yet again, thanks to Paul for having us down and letting us just come down, start the cars, have a look around them. I love coming down here, mate. Honestly, thanks so much. If you're interested in any RS500 road cars, race cars, parts, I'll leave all Paul's contact information below. You've also started a YouTube channel, mate?
I have, yeah, that shows all these cars, walk-around videos, so if anybody's interested in buying them, it just puts it in a smaller video of what we've just done to tell people about the car.
I'll leave all of Paul's links below. But yet again, mate, thanks for having us down. Thanks for taking the time out of your day.
You're welcome.
Spot on, fellas. I'll catch you on the next one.